making it the #1 spot in the country. Then, state by state, place by place, my empire will grow, and I shall be richer than any other and rule this pitiful world with my millions of green. I shall have my own world, my own religion, and my own dynasty. And that day is upon you now." He laughed evilly in my face. His plan was a genius one. It was like Santa Claus, but bringing the toys to the bad guys. With a joint where many can commit sin on every state sounded like opening a bank for the mob. If Mr. B opened this and mass-produced it, it could be chaos to the economy. That is what he wanted. That is what all crime bosses wanted. Money, and it was the key ingredient to this fiendish plot. It had to stop before it could begin. Well, that's quite an idea, but there's one thing that bugs me. Why does having me and my friend Fox getting hitched as... What does having me and my friend Fox getting hitched have to do with this? Mr. B stopped his laughter and looked at me closely. "I wanted to throw you up." Sorry, that was my bad, not his. "I wanted to throw you off. Set up a little hurdle to slow you down. A hurdle that followed Big W to call a private meeting between him and Mario. A hurdle that managed to get me to Mario in a room, so I could bash his brains to oblivion. However, it was also a hurdle that backfired. When Big W had you chloroformed, he planted a bug in you, so we could listen in and be updated on the situation. We managed to overhear the conversation you had in your office with your pal and lover. And, when I heard her voice, I realized it was Crystal, the target that I had missed. I vowed to kill that family, and I shall. Once she's dead, their debt will be paid. In full." I couldn't believe this shit. Didn't killing her parents fill that void? What does she mean to you anyway? He looked at me and responded coldly. "She vowed revenge, and before she commits it, I'm going to make a fur coat out of her before I'm turtle soup. As for your partner, he is with her at the Robert Ness Memorial Clock Tower. At the stroke of midnight, they will see their their end at the 4th chime. And when they take the plunge, we will all sing 'Here Comes the Bride.'" He got up and grabbed me by the neck and lifted me a few feet above the ground. "And I don't care if you try to stop me, because by the time you get there, they will be face flat on the ground in blood-soaked pavement, holding hands." "You bastard," I said while being choked at the neck. "But seeing you're here, I might as well toss the bouquet." With a mighty throw, he chucked me out the window. I couldn't bear to open my eyes. I thought I was done for. I was hoping to hit the pavement to escape this nightmare, but I landed in a dumpster. What rotten luck. As I got out and brushed myself off, I couldn't help but think, do I really have a chance to save my pal and the dame, or go to waste my life as Mr. B installs a nightclub filled with sin? Hell no, I would not allow it. As I ran out of the alleyway I landed in, I managed to get to the sidewalk and stick out my thumb. A cab stopped in front of me in a split second. As I stepped inside the taxi, the cabbie said, "Hedgehog Express, where to, Sam?" I smiled. My luck was starting to change. The Robert Ness Memorial Clock Tower was old. Older than me. Construction began in the early 1900s, and then 20 years later, its builders decided to add on additional floors. It was officially 10 stories tall and almost as big as the Chrysler Building. I began to walk up to the top floor. Each step creaked louder and louder. With each step, I wondered how high I was getting. The more I went up, the more I told myself not to look down. Damn vertigo. Oh, I know what he means. I hate spiral staircases. Because you look down, you're up high, and hate that feeling. I eventually reached the inside of the clock, where the room was full of gears and springs, turning and twisting here and there. Light peeked in the center from the face of the clock that looked backwards from the inside. As I entered through the door carefully, I sipped. Don't you mean you slipped behind a large gear and looked around? Sure enough, in front of the face of the clock, there was Fox and Crystal, held at gunpoint by Big W, kneeling on the ground. I pulled out my revolver, hidden in my coat, knowing how risky the situation was. It was loaded. What luck. Now that I think of it, if I had remembered it earlier, I would have used it on Mr. B. However, I was too focused on my headache at the time, which I did get from getting knocked out. Hey, you two would forget a lot if you were still recovering from a wild night while being chucked out a window in a moving limo. I was about to make my move when I felt a cold metal gun touching the back of my neck. I immediately hid my gun back in my coat. He didn't notice. "So nice of you to join us," Sam cubed, said Mr. B. "Of course, you didn't think we would start without you. It was an ambush. He wanted me to come here." He teased me more with, "Shame you didn't take the elevator like I did. It wasn't my fault I wanted to sneak up on them traditionally. Screw the lift, at least it was worth the walk." He forced me to movie. Don't you mean he forced you to move? And join the captive too. I knelt there next to my partner, my one and only friend I was with through the way. Next to him was our soon-to-be widow. I felt sorry for her. I made a promise to get this demonic turtle behind bars, and now he was going to kill us. The clock was at 11:58, 2 minutes till our death at the pavement below. "Looks like it's game over, Sam," said Mr. B as he raised his gun, getting ready to shoot us down. We were dead ducks. As I faced forward to my doom, I heard a gunshot. I looked to either side of me to see if one of us was hit. Instead, I saw Big W stagger backwards, clutching his heart, and drop dead on the floor. We turned to see an odd figure in the doorway, dressed in a suit with black gloves, the door perched on its head, and a gun in one hand. I couldn't make out the face because there happened to be no face on it. It was blank, but the voice sounded like Yoshi on cigarettes. "Don't move, Mr. B. Let Sam and his friends go. Now, drop the gun, or there'll be a bullet lodged into your cranium," it threatened. Mr. B was nervous. He did put the gun down, but pulled out another one from his shell and shot the blank figure in the chest. The phantom creature fell back to the doorway and tripped. As it tripped, the mysterious guest fell down the stairs, step by step, tumbling down the long and tall path that laid ahead of it. What a death! Without a moment to spare, I tossed Crystal my gun that I was hiding, and she quickly fired one bullet straight at B's head in one shot. He paused, feeling this blow to the head, and dropped his revolver. As he fell back to face the clock, he stuttered his last words, "Paid. In full."